Hello and welcome to another Bricklink LEGO overview. This is for the month of February. I know it's very late as this will be out on the last day of March, but then the March one should be fairly early on in the month. So this is, in short, going over the entire sales that I had on Bricklink for February. So as you can see, as on the top left here, we have December sales, January sales. So in February, our total turnover was £1,552 and 2p, which as you can see is actually a decrease of about 20% from the month before, which isn't the greatest, but you'll see not exactly why there was a lower turnover, but I have an explanation for that, which I'll explain later on in the video. So then the turnover minus the postage was 1,297, which is once again a decrease of 21%, 21.5%, so a bit higher of decrease there. However, those numbers are basically the same because it is sometimes you'll have international orders, so the total turnover will be high, but the postage is also quite high on those. So as you can see, in January we spent £927, whereas in February we spent £1,015, so that is actually the first increase of 9.5%, which may not be the best thing. However, then the one that most people probably care about would probably be the profit. So as you can see, quite high profit in January, which was much better than December's of 34%, negative £34. So in February we made £174, which obviously is actually going to be a decrease of 70%, which is quite significant. But as you can see, expenses were higher along with a lower turnover. So also February is a shorter month, it's about 2 or 3 days shorter than January. So moving on to the daily order average, this is still above 5, it's 5.4, so a bit down on January, so that's 8% down, whereas it is still higher than December. So I reckon if it was the same length in month, have a very similar daily order average, because there's you've just missed out on the weekend sales, which weekend sales are obviously higher than during the week. So then the average order total was also down by about 50p, so that's about 4% down, which doesn't really matter too much. They're all very similar, they're all above £10, which is pretty decent. And then the orders was down by 30, but as I've already said, that is actually February is a smaller month to a degree, so that's why the average daily order is also quite good to look at. So then that's down 17.5%. So as you can see, in between January and February, we didn't add many pieces over January. So at the start of March, basically at the end of February, our start piece count was 93,432, which is actually an increase of nearly 7%, which is quite good. So that's 6,000 pieces added, whereas before to December to January we added 10,000 and then about 200. So not that, it's pretty good. Adding pieces is always good. And then onto the lots, which is 3,747, which is up over 200, which is an increase of 5.94%, so that's also good in itself. And then just the fans up to 29, so that's continuing the trend of adding 2 each month. So I said at the start about reasons about the total turnover being lower. So if you look here, you can see from December to January we just added 10,000 new pieces, and then there just wasn't as many pieces. Well, it didn't add as many pieces. You can see with A with the expenses and B with the piece count change. So that's obviously a factor. So there's not as much variety, and also it's also months and that. So January and December generally fairly decent months, but January should actually be quieter. But yeah, that doesn't go in correlation too well. But however, March should have an increase. But we'll have that video out shortly, and you'll be able to see that as well. But the daily average order is still above 5, which is pretty decent for a Bricklink store of just about 100,000 pieces, whereas some who may have 200,000 pieces and 5,000 lots may be getting 2 or 3, so it's still pretty decent in itself with a fairly decent average order total. And then just the fans, that's also good. If you want to add it as a fan, I'll leave the link down to it below. So that is going to be it for the overview of Bricklink sales. The March one should be out bit sooner than I did this one. So if you're new, please make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.